Hello everybody and welcome. Well, it's the day after we fired. You saw me packing the kiln yesterday, and I fired the kiln, and I did manage to fire it before bedtime, although it was actually slightly later than I anticipated the kiln to finish. It didn't actually finish till about 2:30 in the morning, and that's a little later than I would have liked. I didn't want I could have finished it a lot sooner, but I wanted to sort of, I didn't want it to be a very long, a very short quick firing. I wanted it to be slightly longer, you know. You get slightly better results sometimes. So I closed the chimney across here with the dampening bricks on the top of it, up here, but here. And then of course that made it reduce a lot more, so then I had to turn the gas down outside, basically slowing down the whole firing, but keeping it reducing, but just slowing it down and sort of extending it a bit. Well, in all honesty, I don't know if that was the best idea or not, but you know, you have to learn, don't you? Anyway, I want to bring the camera in here a bit closer. And what we're going to do is we're going to unpack the kiln together. Ooh, let's see. How's that? Ooh, I'm just going to have to move back a touch otherwise. Okay, so there we are. I'll put it there. Like that. Alright. So, First impressions are always the most important. When you open the kiln, you get an immediate sort of, in your head you start looking around. First thing I notice, the Temacus on the top shelf are too cool. They haven't got really up to temperature properly. And that's because these are supposed to have a sort of star on the side here, but you can see they haven't broken through. The glaze hasn't broken on the high points. So the glaze was that one, was this one. Again, this is one with sort of diagonal fluting, not really come out as I wanted them to. So some element of disappointment there. But along with being disappointed, you have to ask yourself, well, why did this happen? And you learn from it. And what I'm learning is that here on the top shelf, I actually this shelf that I've got here, it's like a half shelf. I usually have it more over there. This time I moved it a bit closer this way. I don't know if that made some difference to the gas flow. Again, these small tankards, not just broken here on the rims and the sides, but not anywhere else. A little dark and somber. I prefer a little bit more. And this one's actually got like a scratched out design, but it's completely hasn't come out at all. Not hot enough. Never mind. Again, a little faceted bottle, which would have been nice if it had all come out, but it's a little bit smothered looking. All right, well. This is one of those overlated GP bowls with little lugs. You'll notice in the bottom here, you'll see these iron specks. That is actually due to, I don't actually really mind it at all, but it is actually due to dirt and iron rust and stuff coming up from the burners getting carried through. I mean, I did try to, or thought I did, take precautions to clean that out with the vacuum. You'll notice the wood ash sprayed on the side in different places, just to give it a sort of a little bit more interest. This is a small, quite a nice little piece actually. This was actually white slip brushed around in a random fashion. I then did an iron oxide decoration and then blue wood ash over it, and it's got like a celadon glaze on the inside. Yeah, it's quite pleasing, quite happy with that. This is another small tea bowl with an iron oxide decoration. There's a white slip which you can barely see underneath this celadon. Yeah, and celadon, as I said, over it. This is white slip with, you can barely see the grasses coming through here, underneath, a little bit rather subdued. I quite like the pots in a way that are slightly subdued. You don't immediately sort of, you know, it just takes a while. A pot like that could grow on one, I think. Just notice the lip here slightly coming out, which makes it pleasing to drink out of. This is one. This is the one actually I quickly did. I had to get it in, and we had a few spaces, and you saw me actually decorate that one. That's the actual one. White slip brushed on in a random way gives the feeling of movement, doesn't it? So it's like there's something going on there. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to depict like rainy, windy weather and grasses blowing in the wind, that kind of thing. That's quite pleasing. Yeah. So, and this is another one. Now this one actually has got inside the glaze. This is a Nuka glaze. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like a pink hue to it on the inside here. And honestly, I really don't know exactly what that is due to. The actual glaze itself is not fully matured, indicating it's not really quite hot enough where we had it here on the top. It must like a hotter place. This is a glaze I'm not really very experienced with, so I'm still feeling my way. But the outside, little iron oxide decoration. By the way, if you decorate directly onto the bisque with iron oxide, you get a very clear and crisp, sprightly decorative effect. I've then combined that with some blown wood ash over the top. Quite nice. Yeah. Again, this is the Nuka on top of something else. Oh, I know, it's on top of another decorative, but it hasn't really come out, so we won't comment on that too much. But that's, again, not barely properly melted. Okay, so what am I learning from this experience? I'm learning that the top of the kiln, which I knew anyway, is actually cooler than lower down. So it's the coolest place in the kiln is the top here. Little tea bowl here. Now the dark that you see here is actually the clay, with the yellow ochre that I've mined from that little local clay pit, which is a yellow ochre colour, but it's got a lot of yellow iron oxide in it, and it comes out quite dark, you see. Anyway, I've blown over wood ash as well. And this is another one that's a similar effect. This is a bowl that Jennifer did, and I helped her with, and we put a chino glaze over it. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Chino always gives you a lot of variety, doesn't it? And it can be a very quiet glaze, and other times it can be more loud and vigorous. But and just here I put a bit of wood ash. I actually blew wood ash around the little part of the pot that wasn't glazed at the base. Here I blew wood ash just to give it, but of course where it actually sat on the shelf, I had to sponge the wood ash off, otherwise it would have stuck. Okay folks, that's the top shelf. Right, now to release a shelf, you just wobble it like that, okay? That stops the stilts sticking to the bottom of the shelf. Okay, then lift him up smartly, and we're going to have a look, see what we've got down here. Now you're probably thinking, oh, he's already staged this, he knows exactly what's in the kiln. Well, the truth is I don't, and I haven't. This is the first opening. So I'm looking here. Let's have a look at the cone. Let's have a look at the cone. Here we have, this is cone 10. Okay, well you can see, we can see that the cone is properly well over, isn't it? We'll put him over there. Okay, let's just pull a few things out here quickly. We've got some tall utensil holders here. These are impressed on the outside with different some impressed seals that I'd made, and I was kind of testing them out, and wood ash sprayed over to give it quite a nice, and then a celadon glaze on the inside. This is another one with no impressions, just wood ash sprayed over. Quite interesting, isn't it? Don't you think? That's a utensil holder, practical lip, rolled over, nice and sturdy, but the pot itself is actually not particularly heavy. Okay, moving on. What's this? This is the cutlery drainer you saw me make one day, remember? It's got the cut out, trimmed out base with the little here to let the water out the side so it doesn't accumulate underneath, so it can run away. You need to make the bases of these reasonably thick, alright, for the knives and forks and things getting put in. Again, rolled rim on the top. It's slightly heavy but sturdy. Oh, it seems that we have something rattling around inside in here. What could that possibly be? Look at that. You see, because we didn't have any glaze on the inside because we didn't need to. So I thought, well, clever fellow that I am, let's just put a little pot inside there. You see, save space. Get a little place, a little place for that pot in there. So we get two for the price of one. Now that one is better, isn't it? Now that's Temuku, and you can see how it's breaking on the decoration and also on the lip. And that's actually quite a pleasing little piece. Quite like that. Yeah. Again, notice the slightly flared lip. Makes it easier for drinking. Okay, moving on, what do we got here? Oh, ha ha ha. This is a impressed, with a little impressed seal I made out of bisqued clay. Wood ash sprayed on, but Temuku and then Nuka over the rim. That's Nuka on top of Temuku. Can be quite pleasing. What's next? Ooh, 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 that is a nice little number, isn't it? So what did we do there? I know what we did. We dipped it in red iron oxide slip, or we brushed red iron oxide slip when it was leather hard, and then we scratched it through, okay, while it was leather hard. We let it dry and then we bisqued it. Then when it came out of the bisque, we dipped it in a white glaze. It's like a LEACH white, except it doesn't have any zirco packs in it, so it's not quite so, a little bit more creamy coloured, which I kind of like. But that's actually a very nice little piece. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, what next? Yeah, well this was, again, the Temuku. And this had like some lines and some crisscrosses on it. This was actually a demonstration piece I did somewhere in some workshop, and you can see again Temuku, a little bit subdued maybe, but yeah. Sometimes when the pots are a little bit subdued with glaze, they kind of have a much quieter feel to them, if you know what I mean. Let's have a check to see if we're still in the picture. Yeah, we seem to be. That's good. Okay, good, we'll carry on. What else have we got? Oh, we've got here, ooh, that's rather nice, isn't it? That's a piece of porcelain. Piece of porcelain with some kind of curvy type of fluting that we did. And you can see the foot ring there. See, it's glazed inside the foot ring and glaze on the outside right up to the foot ring, but it's carefully cleaned away. Always make sure you clean away and leave a good margin at the base You don't want to leave so much of a margin that it leaves a kind of naked patch, which is then jars your eyeballs because it draws attention to itself. But you want to have enough so that in case there's a little bit of drippage, it doesn't stick. We're looking in the base of that though. What we see iron. I need to clean out this kiln even better, more than what I am doing, I think. So that's, I wonder if it's, sometimes porcelain is translucent. I'm not sure if this is really, it might be translucent, I can't see properly. Anyway, that's that. That's the only piece of porcelain I've got in here. Okay, what else have we got here? Ooh, look at that, juicy. What's going on here? We've got some little lumpy bits. I wonder what they are. Well, that's quite a nice little small picture, isn't it? Which is Temuku and ilmenite dots, and then dipped on the lip, on the top here, in Nuka. But I'm noticing there's some little lumps here. I'm not quite sure what they are. We'll just have to see if it's on all of them. These are nice, aren't they? Sold to the highest bidder. They're all sold. They will sell immediately, I think. I hope, I should say. One never wants to presuppose, but I think people like those generally. Again here, Nuka over Temuku. Yeah, what's that? A little line there. Pink, yeah. Sometimes you get a bit of pinkiness with Nuka. Yeah, they're quite rich. Rich, aren't they? You're right, rich in colour, these guys. Not bad. Yeah, okay. Next, and another. Ilmenite over Temuku, always a rich combination. What have we got here? Ooh. I know what we've got here. This is, as you can see what's happened here, this actually, the decoration was like this. But really it was Temuku, and then I put wax decoration, and then I dipped it in that white glaze, not the Nuka, the other one I use. But there's a bit of crawling has gone on here. If you do have a seal, sometimes you need to just rub over after you've glazed, alright, just to so the seal breaks through a bit, otherwise the seal can be a bit covered. That's interesting though. Alright, what do we got here? We've got one of the casseroles you've seen me make. What we're going to do is, though, and there he goes. So that's a little stoneware casserole with a lid and a knob, not a strap handle. Again, wood ash, quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. Last but not least, we have a bottle here, which is, this is a nice little number. This is actually a Chino with iron oxide decoration, and the dots here, I don't know if you can see, they're wax. But that's actually come out quite a nice little piece, that. That's a nice little number. That's a nice little exhibition piece. Yeah, I like that. Okay, good. Okay, let's get down to the bottom shelf. Time is marching on. The rain is falling. Okay, so the bottom shelf, let's just wobble him. And now we're going to lift him out. Let's see what we got on the bottom here. It should be somewhat, let me just detach the camera. give you a bird's eye view. There you can see from above what we've got in here, largely functional bowls, ramekins, a few little tea bowls. Okay, let's get that out quickly. Perhaps we can just lean the camera a little bit closer and that's it, like that. Alright. Okay, let's go. What do we got? Little tea bowl on the bottom shelf. Hotter, you see the difference. Okay, this was paddled with one of my paddles that's got a crisscross decoration, and that's come out better. Alright. Another Temuku one. This is actually done with one of those dry corn on the cobs, which is smacked like this when the pot is wet to leave the imprint of the corn on the cob, and then Temuku. Okay, another Temuku one, a bit more subdued. Right, what do we got here now? Now we've got, I need a piece of wood. Just going to get a piece of wood so I can knock these. That'll do. Why don't we first withdraw the props, get them out of the light. Then we've got here, these are just small little open ramekins, just functional, just good functional stuff. You can see how they are, you see, in the kiln like that. So what we're going to do is carefully release them. We've got a Temuku one then and a Sullivan one. Alright. Another one there, a couple down here. That one's got a little pouring lip to it. You can see la la la. Now these we're going to have to grind them off. Quite nice. Hey. Now I've got some. These guys are stuck together, so we have to release them. You can use a piece of wood. The reduction's not quite as I like it. I prefer it less pea green colour and a slightly more bluey green. I'm also seeing a very slight bit of bloating here. Very slightly. There's a GP with a pouring lip. And that's the last. This down here on the bottom floor is kind of hotter, and sometimes you get a little bit of bloating through heat, and also you notice some crazing here in that white glaze. Okay, really rather a little bit on the hot side. In fact, that glaze is probably not best suited to right down there, because that's way over cone 10 down there. Okay folks, well that's it. We've got everything here now on the table. You can see then roughly how many pots that little kiln will fire. What remains for me to do now is to grind off everything. Grind all the bottoms. Which you can generally do by rubbing the bases together. If you have a particularly tough one, you can use a piece of carborundum stone, you see, or one of these. But these, to be honest, are better suited to doing shells. Really, these guys are better for shells. Okie dokie, so there we are. We didn't really actually have any seconds in the firing. There were aspects, things about the firing that I think we can improve on without doubt. But that's always the way, isn't it? It's always a learning experience, and every firing, the more firings that you do, as you learn, like from one firing to the next firing, you learn. When you haven't fired for some time and then you fire, you tend to make mistakes, and then it's not a bad idea to, and I try and make a habit of doing this. I've never been very good at doing this, but I make some notes about the firing cycle, how long it was, the overall length, how long was the firing up to the reduction point, what kind of reduction did we have, and how much I dampened the chimney, a few things like that. I make a few notes of what I did wrong last time, and I remembered this, and I did actually use the vacuum and clean out the burners, because although you wouldn't think so, because you see some of the mess in some of these pots, you see, it's showed up, you know, a bit of that flying rust through the kiln. So I'm going to make some more notes. I've already written down here and said Temmaku too cool on top, not breaking enough. In future, Temmaku needs to be hotter. So overall though, a good firing, I would say. But I need to make some definite notes now, and so next time we don't repeat the same mistakes that we appear to have made. So there we are. Anyway, it's an ongoing learning experience, isn't it, being a potter? And you're always pressing forward, straining to really be able to get those really good pots that you know are almost within grasp. Hey, Simon Leach saying, keep practicing, don't give up. And if you are a potter that's Maybe you're a backslidden potter. Maybe you're one of those potters that you feel, well, I haven't got time anymore. Although I love doing pottery, it's somehow got squeezed out of your life. Maybe you're one of those kind of potters. Well, don't worry, just make little time for it. Make a little space. And what you can do is go to powwow.com, and we do webcam live pottery classes. So get your wheel out, get some clay, get it ready, clean down the decks a bit, prepare a little corner, all right? Get your laptop and your webcam, all right? And let's have a powwow on Powwow. Hey, see you around. Bye-bye.